Today, we're asking a simple question. What's really in your food? We're diving headfirst into a topic that's taken over our supermarkets, protein. But as we'll see, this health boom is full of surprises. This is the protein paradox.
I mean, come on, could your ice cream actually help you build muscle? It sounds way too good to be true, right? Like a total dream. But believe it or not, that's the kind of question companies now want you to ask.
And yet, it's definitely not just ice cream. Just walk through any grocery store in India right now. You'll see it on everything. High-protein bread, protein lassi, even protein biscuits and kulfi. It feels like all our favorite foods suddenly decided to hit the gym. So what's with this sudden obsession?
Well, this isn't some random food fad. The Great Protein Rush is happening for a very specific reason. It's a direct response to a huge gap between the protein we're supposed to get and what we're actually getting.
Let's break it down with two simple numbers. The Indian Council of Medical Research says we should be getting around 60 grams of protein every day, but the average urban Indian, we're only getting about 37 grams. Now, that's not just a small gap, that's a massive, nationwide deficiency. And it's linked to some really serious stuff, like malnutrition and weaker immune system.
And you know what a health gap like that creates? A massive business opportunity. A recent study found that a staggering 84% of us, that's more than 8 out of 10 people, are willing to pay extra for foods with more protein. And get this, more than half of us are willing to pay over 10% more. We're actively looking for a solution, and we're ready to vote with our wallets.
So the demand is clearly there, and the food industry is jumping in with all these exciting promises. But this is where the story takes a turn. Because when you look a little closer, the reality is, well, it's a bit unsettling. You hear this from the head of a giant like Amul, and it sounds amazing, right? They're talking about a mission to solve India's protein problem with high-protein kulfis and parathas. It's a really powerful and optimistic promise. But then, you see this. Here's the jarring reality check. A recent analysis of 36 popular protein powders in India, one that went viral and sparked a lot of outrage, found that 70% of them were mislabeled. 7 out of 10. The amount of protein they promised on the outside simply wasn't what was on the inside.
And if you thought that was bad, it actually gets worse. The same study found that 14% of them, that's 1 in every 7, had harmful toxins and even heavy metals like lead. So we're not just talking about getting ripped off on protein anymore. We're talking about potentially dangerous ingredients. Now, this is where it gets really confusing if you're a shopper. The study named names. Big players. Big Muscles was called out as the worst brand overall. Amway for the worst plant-based. But maybe the most shocking part? Trusted, almost medical-sounding brands like Protein X and Ensure were called the worst brands advertised as the best. That one really stings.
So all of this leaves you, the average person just trying to make a healthy choice for your family, in a really tough position. I mean, who are you even supposed to trust anymore?
And this comment from a Reddit user just nails the frustration everyone's feeling. It's such a fair question. If the stuff in the bottle isn't what's on the label, then what's the whole point? For a lot of people, that basic trust is just gone. And the worries just spiral from there. People are concerned about where the protein even comes from, like heavy metals from polluted cattle fodder. They're finding fake products where the powder doesn't even mix with water. There's a deep mistrust of gym trainers who might be pushing spiked products for a commission. It's a total minefield out there.
But listen, this problem is bigger than just protein powders. It actually applies to almost any packaged food that screams, "I'm healthy" on the box. And it's all because of a sneaky psychological trick our brains play on us called the health halo.
So here's how the health halo works. You see one big, flashy, positive claim, like high protein, and it basically puts this glowing halo over the entire product in your mind. You focus so much on that one good thing that your brain just kind of ignores the other ingredients, like, say, a ton of hidden sugar or fat. And this isn't just a theory. It's very real. A study in Spain looked at thousands of food products and found something pretty ironic. The foods that were making a big deal about their protein content
we're actually more likely to be rated as less healthy overall.
Just let this number sink in for a second. Over 90%, 9-0, more than 90% of the foods that were shouting about their protein content were technically less healthy because of all the other junk inside: high fat, sodium, sweeteners. So what does that tell you? That high protein claim is a marketing tool, not a health certificate.
Okay, I know, this all sounds pretty depressing. It's easy to feel like, what's the point? But don't. Because being armed with the right information is your superpower. You can navigate this stuff like a pro. So let's get into your playbook. Here's what smart shoppers are doing right now. First, they completely ignore the front of the box. They flip it over and read the full ingredient list. Second, they pull out their phones right in the aisle. If they see an ingredient they don't recognize, they Google it. Third, they look for proof, like independent lab tests from places like the YouTube channel Trustified. And finally, they're super vigilant about spotting fakes, checking the packaging, scanning QR codes.
So let's boil it all down to a simple checklist. Here's what you want to look for: clean, simple ingredient lists and proof from independent labs. And remember, sometimes the most reliable protein sources are the familiar ones: dals, paneer, eggs. And here's what's watch out for: those tempting health halos, hidden sugars, and, of course, unverified brands and fakes.
Which brings us back to the big question. This whole protein boom has the potential to be a really good thing, to help fix a real nutritional gap. But it's a double-edged sword. Is it about building better health, or is it just about building better marketing? Ultimately, the power is in our hands. The more we demand transparency and real value, the more we'll force companies to create products that are genuinely better for us.